get started. We got a lot of business to get through this morning. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the STA Business Breakfast and hope that you are enjoying your time here on Hilton Head Island. Before we begin our business this morning, I would like to call on Lisa Amick for the invocation.
You bow your heads, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we gather here this morning with grateful hearts for the many blessings that you have bestowed on us. We are so thankful for friends and family that once again have gathered here, for the organization that continues to bring us together here and as we go back to our jobs. We pray for safe travel for this group. We pray for our troops and those that are in harm's way that give us the freedoms that we enjoy here today and every day. For all your many blessings, we are humbly thankful. In God's name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lisa. This time I'd like to recognize our breakfast sponsors. A Squared TC Squared, American Truchler Inc., Burlington Fabrics, Central Textiles, DeBose Strapping, Glenraven Custom Fabrics, Industrial Air Inc., Itima America Inc., Lang Ligon and Company Inc., National Spinning Company, Philchem, Picanol of America, RSM Company, Shuford Yards, and Staubly Corporation. Please join me in showing your sponsors our appreciation. Be sure to thank all our new sponsors in this season. We have a number of new members this year in attendance. At this time, I would like to introduce them. If you are here, please stand to be recognized when I call your name. We got a lot. And I'm sorry if I get your name wrong. Paul Beringer from Antex, Michael Baruch from American Truchler, Chris Daniels from Bueller Yarns, Austin Duncan from Conitex Sunoco. All right, he's in the house. Waking up early, we appreciate it. Mark Eastley from American Starlinger Som, Patrick Eberline from Pulcra Chemicals, Brian Francois from A Squared TC Squared, Gary Gaffney, Palmetto Threads and Fabrics, Tommy Gaffney from Palmetto Threads and Fabrics, Ashley Grassi from Staubly Corp, Hank Hoshaw from Firestone Fibers and Textiles Co., Brian Isley from Hummingbird 3D Solutions, Ben Lemons from American Starlinger Som, Mark Knowles from Aurora Specialty Textiles, Roger Poole, SDS Mechanical and Automation, Eva Welsh, Frudenberg Performance Materials, Scott Willis from Fiber Industries, and Diana Wyman from A Squared TC Squared. Please join me in giving these new members a big STA. Thank all three of those folks for getting up early here. STA is so fortunate to have a good many of our past presidents present this morning. These past presidents continue to be an important part of the success of STA. As I call your name in the order in which you served, I would like for each to stand and be recognized. Tommy Ariel, Beal Manufacturing, 1987 to 88. Mitch Hensley, Halide America, 2005-2006. George Abbott, Inman Mills, 2006-2007. Lisa Ariel Amick, Glen Raven, 2007-2008. Jim Booterbaugh, National Spinning, 2008 and 9. Jay Self, Greenwood Mills, 2009 and 10. Brad Burnett, SDS Mechanical and Automation, LLC, 2010-11. Randy Blackston, Glenraven Custom Fabrics, 2011-12. Ed Cox, Burlington Fabrics, 2012 and 13. Judson Bomer, LaFrance Industries, 2014 and 15. Todd Weems, Glenraven Custom Fabrics, 15-16. And lastly, Carson Copeland, Valdez Weavers, 2017-18. Please join me in showing our appreciation for our past presidents. At this time, I would like to call to the podium Ed Cox, STA past president and chairman of the STA Awards Committee, plant manager of Burlington Fabrics, for some special awards.
Good morning. Good morning. Our first award this morning is the David Clark Award. This award is named for the founder of STA, honors past Presidents Association who continue to contribute distinguished leadership and service to the association and through it to the textile industry for 10 or more years, following their service as president. Recipients are selected by vote of the Board of Governors. At this time, I'd like to call George Abbott, also a past STA president, to present the David Clark Award.
Thank you, Ed. It's my pleasure and honor to introduce and present my friend Jim Booterbaugh with the STA David Clark Award. Jim, as many of you know, went to Virginia Tech. Okay.
He's only graduate.
The answer is hoagie. I had to look it up. I couldn't find what it meant, but anyway, it's hoagie. Now, most of you know that attend our summer marketing forum that Jim always introduces the speakers, and he throws out their school, and then he does this, and the audience just goes crazy. And can you imagine how those attendees, those speakers feel? Well, I want Jim to get that same feeling. Jim went to Virginia Tech.
That made Ann happy too.
Okay, good. Okay. But anyway, like I said, if you didn't know about that, but many of you know Jim simply as Boot. And trust me, this boot was made for his gift of gab has got him far, all the way to the president and CEO roles at National Spinning. But more important to the roles of MC at that marketing forum. A position he's been asked to take on since its inception in 2003. Because we will never let him out of that gig. Boot simply knows how to make a program phone, be it welcoming attendees, introducing speakers, telling one of his laugh out loud stories, or providing 15 clever uses for dry sheets, or 12 clever uses for Vicks Vapor Rub. The only conference that I've ever attended that most people get back to their seats early from the break just so they won't miss a single Boot story, okay? And that's true. And what can you say about that Booterbaugh beam? I'm referring to that infectious, dimpled grin, of course. This one that makes all of us feel happy, whether he's telling one of his jokes or if he's giving you the weather report. This sense of humor and warm smile, not to mention his sheer intelligence, has worked highly in his favor over the years. How else do you think he was able to earn an engineering mechanical degree at Virginia Tech and begin his career in our amazing industry at Milliken & Company? And after serving As a shift supervisor and process improvement engineer, he was invited to join the master's program at the prestigious Institute of Textile Technology. I don't think they had a mascot.
Go Spinners!
Anyway, they liked him so much at ITT, they asked him to stay on staff, where he became an associate professor with an emphasis on statistics and yarn manufacturing. He also conducted research and was involved in several plant consulting projects. We were members of ITT, actually a founding at Inland, and we know Boot well. I mean, and he was so good there. During his 5 years on staff at ITT, he became director of braid manufacturing research, advised numerous student thesis projects, and co-authored a book on yarn manufacturing. Let me tell you, that book is so well written, well received, that since its publication, we at Inman gave that book to every new management trainee, and you can still get it online. Jim later joined Hart and Henderson Yarns, where he served as Director of Quality and Vice President of Manufacturing. 8 years later, he was hired by National Spinning as Director of Manufacturing for the Yarn Division. Within 3 years, he became General Manager of the Yarn Division, and then later President and CEO of the company, his current roles. That is a terrific career, of course, but I want to tell you how much of an asset Jim has been to STA. When I was president in 2007, the association was struggling. We had dropped over 200 people in membership, and we're at an all-time low, and we're really evaluating whether or not the organization was going to survive. Jim was membership director that year, and through the hard work in helping pull together a strategic planning session with the Board of Governors and leaders outside of the STA, we reflected on how STA was performing and tried to figure out ways to be more valuable to our industry and members. Jim was a big part of that. I mean, a really big part of that. From that session, we did some consolidation, revamped some programs, and established some new programs that have been widely successful. And we grew membership. We got 101 new members that year, and I credit Jim for that outstanding achievement. Best ever. 2 years later, during his presidency, the industry was going through the Great Recession, and there was some outside strong pressures to roll STA into another organization. But through Jim's strength, leadership, the association led the charge and helped the STA see the way forward to remain an independent, viable asset to the industry, to this industry. To this day, Jim remains a valuable member of the Board of Governors. Lillian Link told me recently that through the years, whenever she asked him for something, he always jumps on it, no questions asked. And I can personally attest to his willingness to help, to solve problems, to do whatever is needed to help STA and our industry. Outside of making our industry and association great, Jim has devoted a great amount to his church and community. He was founding board member of the Vance Charter School in Henderson, North Carolina, where he served 5 years as treasurer and chairman of the board. He also spent many years coaching the local youth sport leagues. At church, Jim has served as a lay leader, chairman of the church council, and as a member of the board of trustees at University United Methodist Church in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where he also teaches an adult Sunday school class. So without further ado, it's my privilege to introduce my longtime friend and a friend to all, Jim Booterbaugh. Jim, bring that big grin up here. Let me read this to you. I couldn't read that.
I can't read it either, George.
Lillian was kind enough to give us this. So, in grateful recognition of the inspiring leadership he has provided this association, both as a member and as an officer over a period of many years, the Board of Governors present this highest award for devoted service to Jim Booterbaugh of National Spending Company. July the 23rd, 2019.
All right, thank you, George. The weather today is going to be 87 degrees, 30% chance of thunderstorm. Thank you, George. I appreciate that, and that was all too kind. But you know, the thing about STA is it is like family, and the connections are so great. But I certainly want to thank the presidents that came before me for inspiring me, and also, you know, I appreciate the service of all the existing executive committee and the presidents that followed me. You know, George talked about us expanding the membership, but I've been wowed this year by what Rick Carpenter and his crew has done. So all I did was what all the other past presidents have done. And we did go through some tough times back in 2008, 2009, but that was just because of the recession that was occurring at that time. A recession will come again, and we'll have to fight through again, but I think we're on the right path. So, thank you, everybody. Thank you, family, because you all are all part of my family, and I appreciate it.
Our next award is the Steve Epps Lifetime Service Award. It's named after STA past president Steve Epps. It honors STA members who've been a member of STA for over 20 years or more, are retiring who have retired, and served the association in many capacities of leadership and service during the years of membership. Recipients are selected by vote of the Board of Governors. This year's recipient has been a long-time member of the STA. I remember him the first time I ever went to an STA meeting. Mr. Steve Adams. You know, he's been on the board probably over 45 years, but you notice in his bio that you have here this morning, he's been to 44 out of the last 45 annual meetings. That's a pretty good attendance record. He's served in many different textile organizations and many textile boards over the years. He's not only the annual meetings and all the meetings that he's attended, but planning meetings. You know, Steve was based out of Pendergrass, Georgia, and he never missed a North Carolina planning meeting as long as I was involved. He always came to the planning meetings, came South Carolina planning meetings, to our meetings in North Carolina, our meetings in South Carolina. You know, back in those days we had three different divisions, and he attended regularly. He's also been a voice to the board. He's a storyteller of many late nights at the Grove Park Inn. I understand he's been known to kind of shut the place down up there on a first name basis. And I'll tell you a funny story about Steve. After I first moved down to Southern Pines, that area, there's a place there called the Full Moon Oyster Bar in Southern Pines. And we were there one night, and we were sitting at the bar there having a few oysters. And this young man was waiting on us, and he was probably in his mid-40s. And we were having conversation, and the young guy that was shucking the oysters said, "Are you a chemical salesman?" Steve said, "Yeah." He said, "Are you from Georgia?" Steve said, "Yeah." He said, "I know you." He said, "You do?" He said, "Yes. I used to see you twice a year, every year, at Little Bo's Steakhouse in Rockingham, North Carolina." By that time, old Steve's got this interesting look on his face. Because he don't know what this guy's going to say. And all of a sudden, he said, "Yes, sir." He said, "I remember you coming to Little Bo's Steakhouse. You sat back there in the corner, you and them Allison boys, and old Baker, Mr. Baker, he called him, and Benny Parsons." And he said, "Y'all would just shut the place down." But he said, "You know the only funny thing about that group? You was the only one there who wasn't a race car driver." and Steve, being his natural self, came right back. He said, "You don't know if I'm a race car driver or not." But again, and recognizing Steve, you meant a great deal to the industry, a great deal to this organization, and I'm proud to present you with a Steve Epps Award. Please come to the podium. This is the Steve Epps Lifetime Service Award in recognition of your devoting service and unwarranted support above and beyond for over 20 years. The Board of Governors presents its highest award for lifetime service, Steve Adams of ZKR Express Incorporated.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Well, let's say I didn't have my speech, but if I can pull this up, I'll read it. We put ZKR Express on that. I worked for Sidell Wooley for 32 years, and I retired, and now I'm hunting something to do, so Ashley lets me work with her. But I want to really say a few words about Steve Epps. He was a personal friend of mine. I met Steve Epps in 1976. He was at the Springsteen plant, and we got started talking, and he was in 82nd Airborne. When he was, 16, 17, 18 years old, he jumped behind enemy lines. And I told him I was a war baby. I was born at Camp Wheeler Army Camp, Macon, Georgia. And my dad was in the 101st Airborne. For some of you, that's the band of brothers. So right away, Steve and I were a band of brothers. And I knew him, his wife Mary, watched his career, played a lot of golf with him. He was a true blue textile executive. And he had the appearance, and he was a great man. So to get this award, when Lillian told me I was going to get an award, I said, well, I got two questions. Number one, can't you find somebody more deserving? And she said, no. And then I said, well, how much does it pay? I'm retired. I want to recognize, after 54 years, my wife Brenda. Rick, he's in the STA, and he's come to probably, what, third? He's been coming a long time. And then Regina, his wife, and my little mini-me, Talon. And then Kathy, for you people who were out last night, he's the one I was chasing all over this facility. The girls were drinking wine and watching something about a bachelor. And I was totally give out, and I went downstairs and had me a couple of drinks. And Ryan, I think most of you know her. I have two other grandchildren, Zach, who's Rick's son, and then Caitlin, I think, y'all, where's the posting? She's not here, you know. But Ryan, and then my daughter Ashley, she runs our trucking company, and again, she won't let me come down there. I get involved in her business. But any of you guys who want me to haul some, I got a car, I can haul for you. But anyway, when we talk about family and STA, when I came into STA, some of the mentors, Bill Ashley and Bill Pittendray, some of the guys you guys don't know, they were talking to me and they said, are you bringing something or taking something from STA? And I looked in shop very few times. I always got the answer, but I didn't have an answer to that. And I think I looked at him and I said, I'm bringing something. And that was the right answer. So I brought something, I brought everything I could to STA, and what I got was thousands of friends, thousands and thousands of memories. And STA is truly a family organization, and I applaud all the past presidents. I go back to 1974 and was fortunate to somewhat have a personal relationship with every president. And I'm going to tell you, they were all quality people. They did a great job. So on behalf of my family and me, this retirement ain't bad. It's the first time I wore pants in a year. So. You don't know what day it is, except you know when Sunday is. You're supposed to go to church. But I want to thank Ed and Deb and all these guys, and Carson, all you guys for your friendship over the years. And I'm not going to be too far from STA. So thank you, and thank you for the award.
I'd like to now call our second Vice President and Sales Manager of Conitex Sunoco, Rick Carpenter, to the podium. Got a little housework here. Good morning.
Good morning.
Heard a lot about membership, and my name's been mentioned a lot, but I just holding the rudder this year. It's been a great team effort. Texas Textile in Raleigh rocked. It was actually a lot of fun. And the best part about that is a lot of those people were at this meeting. You know, we got to where we were just like, let's get numbers, and let's get numbers. And we all sat and talked. We said, we need members that want to participate. And so membership's the lifeblood, guys, ladies. So I don't know when this was kind of conceived, but we come up with a thought of having, what do we like in this group? Competition, you know, and not recognition, but competition. And so I think Devin and a few of us one night, maybe in Charleston, come up with, well, let's do an annual recognition for membership. You know, no pay, no money. Sorry, George. Yeah. But then we got thinking, well, what are we going to call it? And it was actually pretty easy. Back in 2006, I was a young STA member, had been in the organization a few years, and I got a call from a guy named George Abbott. And I really didn't know George that well at that point. And, you know, but I was in the textile industry. I was a Fieldcrest person. So you knew George Abbott if you had looms, you knew George Abbott. And he asked me to serve on that committee, and he sat me down and said, look, son, you need to get involved in this organization. So he's the reason I'm in the leadership role, and I've come up, and this, you guys are my family. I think Andrew said in an article, one of my friends asked me one day that is in another industry, said, why do you get so jacked up about this? You look forward to these meetings? And I said, these are the people going to be at my funeral, I hope. So, you know. But I've got a question. Raise your hand if George Abbott was instrumental in getting you involved in this organization. Yeah, George, look around the room. So, we decided that we would create Go Wolfpack. So we've created, the board has voted to create a new award. And from here on out, the person that recruits the most members each year will get the George Abbott Award.
Wow.
We're probably going to need a bodyguard today because he is going to kill me. When we talked about this, Lydia said, do you want to surprise him? I went, yeah. She goes, he'll kill you. And George, most people in here are in on this, and we actually kept a secret in this organization for about 6 months.
There's no leaks in this.
No, sir. So I would like to just quickly recognize the people that recruited, or at least got 4 new members this year. Of course, George Abbott, Andrew,
Cox, Jim Saccone, Lillian Link, Thomas Poston, and Devin Steele. Thank y'all. And there was a lot of people that we treated a lot of people. So the awards committee and exec board decided that the first year we're going to present this award to George. And
Wow.
George, would you please join me?
Oh, my
So I got to put my glasses on, sorry.
Yeah, he won't hit you with them on.
So, it's a beautiful award. And it says, we got our STA logo, George Abbott, in grateful recognition of his enthusiasm, loyal service, and endless efforts in membership recruitment. This 23rd day of July 2019, Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. So each year, we'll get up here and someone will get this beautiful award named after my very dear friend, George Abbott.
Thank you so much. Okay, so what am I gonna say? You surprised me with this thing. I'm gonna try to win this thing. This may be my retirement job. Oh, that is so precious. I'm just gonna have to say what I've said many times before. This is a family. I love STA, and you love STA. And I know what we're going through in our industry right now, in our country right now. But looking at what our leadership did this year, bringing more members in, showing, getting out in the textile show and letting people know who we are, what we stand for. Big challenge now, I don't say challenge, big opportunity now is bringing the young people in with us. The speaker we had at the Raleigh meeting, we ought to have him everywhere to talk and kind of, maybe even in some committee meetings. I'm getting too long-winded. But thank you. I'm going to live to 107. And I want to be coming here, okay? Thank you so much. This is so precious.
That was good.
No, I'm not, but I'm on.
You must have wrote his piece on too, did you?
It says on the schedule that there's a president's address, but if I knew I was going to have to follow George Abbott, Steve Adams, I would have said, I'm not going to be the president. But alas, it's between me and getting out of here and getting to the real thing. So I'm going to say a couple quick words and get off the stage and let everybody else have some shine. STA members, distinguished speakers, past presidents, and Brad. At this time, as you see in your program, it's my time. Serving on the executive committee and helping lead this group the past few years has truly been a great experience. I've learned from so many of my colleagues, folks in this room, and learned a lot about myself. The founders of this group intended to create a group dedicated to education for the textile industry. Those three men were from Spray, North Carolina, which is now known as Eden, my hometown. Just kind of a little Easter egg in the whole thing. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my parents' sacrifices raising my brother and I the right way, in the church, manners, decency. I only hope that I have lived up to their example. My mom is the rock and the son, the center of our family, keeping things together as Dad was away on business most of my youth. Dad was a mentor and the super dad, despite a lot of travel, rarely missing a single football game, baseball game, always given the time to throw the football or baseball in the yard. He started his company in 2003 with a loan of $2,500. Is that right?
That's right.
Taking on all the risk of a young family as the breadwinner. A month later, he repaid that loan. Fast forward 5 years later, I joined in 2008 in the depths of the recession we talk about. We somehow weathered the recession, weathered the storm, helped our partners Phil Speck purchase a U.S. facility, and have grown our business. Years later, an entire network of manufacturing partners depended upon our sales and Eric's work. I've been very blessed to work with my father and learn the business from somebody with 40 years of experience, 41, 40, 38. Round up. We're sales guys.
That's true.
But there were some things that were not questioned, and they were values, decency, and ethics. The missing piece, she's over there in that, what color would you call that? Multicolored. Of course, as most of you know, I met her through this crazy organization. You talk about family, it is the family. It has become my family. I married into this family, so I can't get out now. I'm happy to join the Ariel family, which is now 3 generations of STA presidents with Tommy and Lisa and myself. Lieb and Lisa have been incredibly supportive, and I'm lucky to call them family. Again, I can't say anything that a George Abbott or a Steve Adams or Jim Booterbaugh hasn't said. I mean, this is the organization for our industry. This is a true family. The folks in this room will do anything for you if you invest the time. So I suggest, if you haven't done it yet, get involved, continue. You might think you don't know anybody yet, keep coming to this meeting, and next thing you know, you'll be on this stage. This group has helped me become a better leader in person. And so kudos to everyone in this room who's helped shape me and mentor me. There's too many to name. If we can continue on our path, there's nothing keeping STA from another 100 years. It all depends on the stewardship of those in this room. As they said, are you taking or are you giving to this organization? So it's up to each and every one of us for that. Thank you very much for allowing me to serve this organization. Next order of business, I'd like to call on past President Judson Bomer to come to the podium for the report of the nominating committee.
After consideration of many worthy candidates, the nominating committee has arrived at a slate of officers and directors which we are pleased to submit to the membership for consideration. Chairman of the Board, Andrew Barker. President, Matt Shannon. First Vice President, Rick Carpenter. Second Vice President, Cameron Hamrick. I'd also like to report that Charles Poston of Kluber Lubrication was elected Board of Governors on Monday as the new member at large to serve on the Executive Committee. I'd also like to report on the Board of Governors, the 4-year terms expiring in 2030. We've got Palmer Blair of Dillon Yarn, Tim Manson of Maria, Thomas Poston of Dakin, Tina Rogers of Invista, Randy Smith of Mount Vernon Chemicals, Devin Steele of E-Textile, and then the Board of Governors for a 3-year term expiring in 2020 is Ashley Grassie of Stallby Corporation.
Can I have a motion to elect these directors and officers?
So moved.
Any second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right. It carries. Congrats to Rick Carpenter on being elected first vice president. Charles Poston, welcome to be a member at large. This time I'd like to call Matt Shannon to the podium.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. This has been a long, excellent, emotional program, and so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I know we have to get on to our presentations, but thank you so much. It's an honor and a pleasure to serve as your president. As many of you know, my company, Greenwood Mills, has a long history of participation in the STA. The past presidents of this organization include Jay Self, Eddie Gaither, and Doyle Kidd. And I sure hope to continue the tradition of service in this great organization that these gentlemen have presented us. I'm deeply indebted to Andrew for his stewardship over the past year. I certainly have big shoes to fill, so thank you, Andrew. In his honor, the STA has made donations to the following: Arch Ministries of Spartanburg, Leakesville United Methodist Church, and the North Carolina School of Science and Math Morganton campus. At this time, I'd like to present Andrew with the STA Service Award. And it says, presented to Andrew R. Barker of Matrix Yarns in grateful recognition of his distinguished service as president of this association, July 1st, 2018 to June 30th, 2019. Please give me a round of applause for Andrew. Thank you.
Yeah, I got to still.
Oh, yeah.
Housekeeping, I know. All right, Carson to the stage, please. Carson to stage 1.
You can't get that award until you write your bio now.
That's exactly right. I'll just keep it on file with Lily and then it'll remain on hold. To Carson, I need to present you with this award and gavel symbolic of becoming Chairman Emeritus and lifetime board member of the Board of Governors.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to Carson for his stewardship. All right, at this time, it's Matt's show. I'm out of here.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. I would like to remind everybody of our next event, the Summer Marketing Forum, which will be held Wednesday, September 18th at the Textile Technology Center in Belmont, North Carolina. I'd like to encourage everyone to attend. And also next year's, the 2020 annual meeting will be held at the Myrtle Beach Hilton, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, June 14th through 16th. So please put this date on your calendar. I want everybody to attend. I think it's going to be an excellent meeting. And with that, this meeting is hereby adjourned.